Welcome back to Yoshi Entertainment, everybody. So, just recently, Ashton Kutcher and his wife Mila Kunis have been getting dragged all up and through and down the media, as they should, because they sent out letters, wrote letters, and sent letters to the judge in support of, in defense of, Danny Masterson, who we just learned was convicted of, not allegedly, has been convicted of R-wording two women back in the early 2000s. Now, like I always say, let's start from the beginning. So Danny Masterson was somebody who starred, he was an actor who starred on the show, That 70s Show. Now, back in that time, it was him, Ashton Kutcher, some other people, Mila Kunis. To my understanding, all of them were above the age of 18 except for Mila Kunis, who was like 14 whenever she first starred on the show. A underage minor starring on a show where she was actually the love interest of the character that was being played by Ashton Kutcher, who was 19 at the time. Now, there are people that were saying, well, she did lie and say, allegedly, that she was not 14, that she was of age whenever she got on the show. Now, let me tell y'all something in response to that, because like I said, I've seen that a lot all over social media in response to basically people trying to point out the fact that she was underage, kissing an 18-year-old, 19-year-old adult man. You can't make me believe that the producers of that show did not know that she was underage. You cannot make me believe they didn't have access to the tools, the resources to run a background check to make sure she was of age and risk all of being incarcerated, having their show shut down. Are you kidding me? I don't believe it at all. But I'll say allegedly anyways. Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher were on a talk show where he openly admitted that Danny Masterson, the awful individual who's being sentenced to 30 years for R-wording two women, bet him $20 to stick his 19-year-old tongue down Mila Kunis's underage 14-year-old mouth. That's raggedy. Like I said, they openly admitted this and joked about it on the talk show. And he even said, or tried to make it better by saying that she was 15 whenever they had the first kiss, to try and make some kind of difference between, oh, well, that 1 year made it a little less bad that they were making out on this show, even though she was underage. And everybody has been giving him, well, not everybody, but, people who've been, using their brains, let me put it that way, have been giving him the side eye ever since, along with Danny Masterson for what he did. Also, another reason why people have been giving him the side eye, I'm talking about Ashton Kutcher, is because a video that he made back in the day resurfaced of him blatantly saying that Hilary Duff, along with the Olsen twins, were one of those young actresses that they were, and I quote, waiting to turn 18. We all know what that means. He's raggedy, quite clearly. Also, sick and disgusting. Also, Danny Masterson and I believe Ashton Kutcher as well are involved with a certain church of certain theology, if you will. I can't say it on here, apparently, because the YouTube algorithm doesn't like that. But we all know what they're about, if you get my drift. Now, why did I explain all of that, you might ask? So that I can provide some context and some history for where we're going. Now, like I said just recently, Danny Masterson was sentenced to 30 years for what he did to these two women. And allegedly, there was actually a third woman who had came forward. And there were some very graphic details that were described in some legal documents that are out there. I'm not going to put them on this video, on this channel, because like I said, they were very graphic. But they are out there. But unfortunately, that third woman didn't get the justice I felt like she deserved, because the judge did not rule any charges against him for what she said that he did to her, because they were dating at the time. And it's really a punch to the gut, if you ask me, because that's like saying you don't believe that a person can be assaulted or hurt even though they're in a relationship with the person who did that to them. And quite obviously, that can happen to someone. It disgusts me and disturbs me how some of these judges can sit on their high and mighty pedestals and podiums and pass down these rulings without any empathy involved. Like, I honestly believe a lot of the people who are judges should not be judges, because they don't have any sense of the ability to put themselves in the shoes of the people who they are judging. They are a part of a percentile that these things don't happen to. A lot of these judges, I don't believe they have a mental, emotional, or moral understanding of what most people that are not like them, that are not in their tax bracket, that are not in their class, go through. Like I said, they don't have any empathy. But anyways, So Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher decided to get on the internet. Well, I guess secretly they thought, they would sneak around and write these character letters, basically telling the judge, oh, well, this is not the person that we knew for 25 years, and he was a role model this, and, we trust our kids around him that, and he's not a bad guy, and this is the guy that we know. And for some dumb reason, they didn't think that these letters would make their way to the internet. Have we learned nothing from the Tory Lane situation with the letters that celebrities like Iggy Azalea sent to him? And she wasn't the only one. But by now, people should understand that these documents are legally accessible to the common folk. Like I said, it was stupid for them to think that this wasn't going to go public at some point in time. So they got on to make this apology video that everybody was basically saying they're not buying. And I mean, look how they even came on to the video to make the apology. They look raggedy. Any other time they would be all made up, dressed up, looking decent. They look like they just rolled out of bed. Like they're just up here to handle some obligation because they can't afford any more backlash. And also, looked like to me they were reading off of a script, if I'm gonna be real honest. They didn't seem like they were really that sorry, if I'm gonna be 100% honest. And like I said, people are not buying it. Again, also because Ashton Kutcher made a whole organization by the name of Thorn. Supposed to have some kind of technology to help people identify victims of trafficking and nail the people responsible. His whole life's work for 10 years has been dedicated, other than acting, to basically helping people, helping save people who were going through the same thing that his supposed friend did to these two women or these multiple women. So a lot of people felt like that was a slap in the face to the victims. And he even mentioned, I know that this might have caused some hurt and that he wasn't trying to do that. But again, it's like, as people have been labeling it, a not apology. You said you knew the damage that it did, that you were just trying to vouch for your friend who you knew. But at some point in time, there has to be a line drawn. There's been a lot of people, which also disturbed me, who have been making excuses for him sending that character letter on behalf of Danny Masterson. You have the legal right to do so, to write the judge and ask them to knock some years off of the sentence if you think it was unfair. But morally, can we talk about the moral aspect? Especially, once again, if your life's work has been dedicated to helping people who have gone through the same thing that your friend put somebody else's daughter through. So is it that you're against these people if they're not somebody who looks like you, your friend, somebody who you know? Is that what it is? But again, let's go back to the moral aspect. I can't say what somebody else should do. Well, if we're going to be honest, actually I could. But what I'm going to say is what I would do if I had a best friend or even a family member who had done this heinous act. Because it wasn't just that he R-worded these women. They said that he did it in a violent and aggressive manner. If somebody who I knew, even if they were close to me, knew, you know that the law is against this stuff. You know that this is awful, that this is heinous to do to someone. You took their power away. You hurt them, like I said, in the most heinous way that you could. You got away with it essentially for 2 decades. Allegedly, these women were claiming that allegedly the church, if you will, that they're associated with, that I can't say on here, was harassing them and threatening them not to come out and say anything about what had happened to them. All of this happened. And you expect me to stand by you because I'm your friend or you're my family member? I don't think so. You broke the law. I'm not writing a letter. You knew what the law was. You broke it intentionally. You did a heinous act, not just once, but multiple times. Whatever the judge gives you, that's what you get. Also, another reason why I wouldn't stand by somebody, even if they were my close friend or family member, after it was proven that they did something like this, is because I'm not about to risk my reputation and getting drugged with you down because of what you did. Birds of a feather flock together. People could say that just because they supported him that they were guilty of the same thing. Like I said, I don't care who you are. You're not about to ruin my good name, have it drugged through the mud because I stood with you whenever you did something heinous. And that does not mean that I have broken loyalty or that I don't have loyalty for that person. It means I have common sense and integrity. When somebody does something like that, you don't stand by them. You hold them accountable with everybody else. I always say this. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes. If it was your mother, your wife, your daughter, you, for crying out loud, that was in that situation that those women were in, would you want this man to stand by him? Would you want his friends to try and take up for him after what he did? Would you be okay with your friend? Because they said allegedly Ashton Kutcher was friends with one of those women and he knew one of the other women. Would you be okay with one of your friends sticking up for, standing by the person who they said was their friend that had done something that awful to you? How would you feel about that? Like I said, I found it very disturbing that people were still coming out and saying, oh, well, that's his friend. Like he should be able to stand by his friend. Like I said, there's a line that has to be drawn, especially when his life's work, let me repeat it again, was built on nailing people who did the same thing that he did to those women. A lot of people who supported them were very hurt by that. And I'm going to go ahead and put this out there while I'm at it. Don't for one second think that because these celebrities donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to charity and have all these charitable foundations, that they're decent people. They are people, human beings just like you and me. As a matter of fact, all of their human vices will be exacerbated because of the money and the fame that they have. So yeah, they are human. But they feel like they're not subject to the same laws and morality that we are, the normal people, because of their money and their fame. Most of these celebrities are not good people. I'm going to let y'all know that right now. I don't care what you think about them. They're all raggedy in one way or another. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to make myself seem like I'm so good. I'm human as well. Although, like I said, these people, regular people, put these celebrities on pedestals. And then when it comes out that they've done this stuff, they get so hurt. I'm letting you know right now, don't be. Bury your expectations for these people, especially these high up there celebrities. Because like I said, 9 times out of 10, they're raggedy. And I don't care what they've done for charity or whoever. They probably got something that they're doing that's not right. It's messed up what happened to those women. It's sad that it took this long to get their, justice. Sad there's people who, like I said, can't even come to the agreement that if you've done something that's heinous, nobody should be standing by your side. I'm not saying that they can't be redeemed from what they've done, if they, have remorse and they realize what they did was wrong. But 9 times out of 10, that's not going to be the case. A lot of the people who do things like what Danny Masterson has done, they don't see anything wrong with it, which is why prison is where they need to stay. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think and how y'all feel down in the comments below respectfully. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Y'all have a blessed day.